everyone, and welcome to episode 9 of the Xbox Community Cast. If you haven't been a part of the discussion before, each week we come together to discuss the latest news and popular topics with you, the community. On this week's show, we'll be talking about a few new release dates, the Overwatch anniversary event, and then we'll all board the Destiny 2 hype train to talk about the recent gameplay reveal. Also, stay tuned to the back half of the show, where we'll be having our Game of the Week discussion about Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris. I'm your host, Risky, and joining me this week and every other week is Waterloo.
Hey.
And Shopa.
Hello, everyone.
How's your guys' weeks been? Who wants to talk about their week first?
Well, since I started talking first, I guess I'll go first. My week was good. I was in the country, in the sticks, in the boonies, however you want to pronounce it or say it or put a spin onto it. I was there, which was all right. You know, it was nice and relaxing. I got to sit on the porch, enjoy some nature, you know, all that fun stuff. Really unplug myself from the tech world, which was nice, I guess. In some ways I missed it. It was good though, you know. Did a lot of training, learned a lot of stuff. How about you there, Shopa?
I had a pretty good week myself, actually, as well. Worked as usual, because, you know, you need to make money. But got to play a bunch of Xbox games. We did a lot of hanging out this weekend with friends. Played some games together, actually, which I haven't done in a while. I haven't done a lot of co-op games recently, so that was pretty cool. I know we went to a baseball game, which was pretty sweet.
Yep, that was my main thing for the week.
Which I just stole from you.
No, I mean, it's fine. We can just get it out in the air.
Yeah. Bark in the Park is a cool thing that Chiefs and Syracuse do for one of their home games this past weekend.
It's our local AAA baseball team.
So I personally don't have a dog, but Risky over here was able to bring his cute little pup.
Yep, so we got a bunch of people together. We all went to the ballpark, and they let your dog come in for a fee. And at first I was like, you're bringing all these dogs into this park. Where are they going to pee and poop and do all this stuff? But I didn't step in any poop.
No, I didn't see any. I saw one dog poop while he was like walking, which is something you really can't defend against.
That's what Waterloo's dog does.
Yeah, she does. She poops and walks. It's pretty impressive to watch.
And I think we saw a couple of pee puddles, but they had ample space. You just had to kind of walk off to the first base side, and there was space out there for your dogs to go to the bathroom.
On the field?
No, it's back behind.
Oh, okay.
But it was pretty easy to get to, so that was kind of cool. And yeah, it was cool to be there with everybody, and using your dogs as an excuse to get out of the house and go to a baseball game is never a bad thing. So.
Yeah, I don't think I've been outdoors so much since I got a dog. Just I always have to be outside to exercise them. Otherwise, I'm a terrible owner, so.
Very true.
Makes sense. All right, so everybody had good weeks, and it's still sunny out. So, no complaining here.
Not at all.
But,
Nice
all right.
and warm.
How about we get into the news? All right. Waterloo, what's in the news this week?
Well, in the news this week, for those that don't have the expansion for Honor, the season pass, I should say, the new characters are now playable for everybody at a small fee of 15,000 steel, I do believe it is.
Better than $15,000.
Yeah, so make sure you guys got a little steel saved up. You can use them in practice, but unfortunately you can't use them anywhere else unless you purchase them, which is kind of a bummer. So you have to recruit them. That's pretty cool, newsworthy for me. You know, I got to not so much crack skulls with the guy, but I sliced them open instead with I'm doing some slicing with that Shinobi. Seeing what the inside of that brains look like.
All right, great. What else?
Being an Overwatch man, there is an event going on. Like, it seems like there's an event every other weekend with Overwatch, but that's because it's a fun game and a lot of people love playing it.
It's good and it keeps it interesting
for
players.
But Overwatch has been out for a year now, And they're doing a special event where from the 26th to the 29th, it's free to play.
That's exciting, except for we all own it.
So not as exciting for us. But the good news is if you do hop on to play it, any of the progress you make in that free week, if you go, or that free, I guess it's not really a week, not a full week, 4 days.
No, it's a weekend.
Anything you do transfers over if you buy the game. I knew you would laugh when I said
I did, yeah.
I knew you would laugh at that. And the Digital Game of the Year edition came out May 23rd, which is today.
Yep.
So
the event started today, and with that, they released this new Game of the Year edition, which was essentially just the Origins edition plus 10 loot crates. Other than that, it's not much different than the one we bought originally.
nothing. Nothing at all. And do you know how much it was? I don't remember how much I said it was, but
I don't remember how. I know it's on
$39.99.
I think that's right, $40. I know that just the normal version, the Origins edition, is $30 this week. I think all through this week, Overwatch is on sale. So if you haven't picked it up and you want to, take advantage of that free trial, and then the game is also on sale.
that's cool to get your 10 free loot crates and get some skins because skins are always fun.
And yeah, they said there's 100 new items, so that's going to be between skins, dance emotes, the sprays, probably the voices. You can
Voice
get like the
lines.
voices, yeah,
Voice
the lines. And those are going to be all available through the commemorative loot boxes. So if you're looking for the new stuff from this event, you can check those loot boxes.
Yeah, and I'm sure those are the 10 free ones you get as well. Typically, when they bring out the new loot
that makes
boxes,
sense.
they give you those.
So the special event runs from May 23rd to June 12th.
So, wow.
So yeah, you got a while. Maybe we'll hop into it this week. Maybe. We'll see.
I probably will.
Who knows?
I almost always play Overwatch.
That's true.
At least a couple games. They're quick. It's really nice. Versus
the
like
game,
like Overwatch games compared to like 45-minute league games, or like
right.
when you get into a Counter-Strike game, it says you have to make sure you have 90 minutes to play because...
Or like Battlefront game, some of those conquest games, the super long modes in Battlefield, not Battlefront. Those can last
forever.
45 minutes, an hour, which way too long for me.
Even
I need to have the option to go use the bathroom or get a snack in between like 10-minute games.
I mean, you can go and use the bathroom if you really want to, but your character will just be sitting there idle.
True.
And you will most
thank
likely
you.
die.
Oh, okay.
I just
Thank
wanted
you
to
for
make
clarifying.
sure you knew you could
that I
get
was-
up.
You mean,
you have the
my
option.
character doesn't move when I'm not looking at the screen?
Some may be just as surprised as you are, but yes, that is in fact true.
What if you bring your controller
Mind
with you and try to play without looking at the screen?
Or what if you bring your tablet in with you with Windows 10 and you play via Windows
stream
10
it. There it is.
in your bathroom? You
What
could
if
be
it was
pooping
just-
and playing at the same time.
Well, now you guys are just making yourself sound stupid that you didn't think of doing this before when you were playing these games.
Well, we thought of it now, and that's all that counts.
Yes, count it.
So
And we'll get to some sad news next
Sad news.
for Waterloo and his beloved Red Dead Redemption 2.
sad face.
Yeah.
So it's been delayed into
Don't-
spring 2018.
Don't do it. Why, Rockstar? Why?
It was originally slated for this fall, but they need more polish.
I guess if they're putting that turtle wax on there and they're gonna make it look primo, I'll let it slide. Do this once. Just don't try to do this to me again. I've had my heart broken too many times by games.
Especially Rockstar games.
Yeah, and so we got this spring 2018 deadline, but they also said it's not going to come in this fiscal year, which goes to March 31st. So the earliest we're going to be able to get this game is going to be April 1st.
I'm hoping
so you know.
they'll just push it back and we'll have it like around my birthday. Just make it a Lewis Malaya birthday. Darn it.
Why?
What they're gonna do?
That just makes it farther away.
what
Yeah,
they're gonna
but then it just makes it more special to me.
what they're gonna do to you, Lou, is they're gonna say, "Hey, this is gonna drop on April 1st," and then you're gonna
It's
go
gonna
get it
be a
April 1st,
joke.
and it's gonna be an April Fool's joke, and they're just gonna be like, "Ha
I hope they don't do that
Gotcha.
because then
fall
they
of
will,
2019."
if they do that, they will be ruining my favorite holiday.
Which is your birthday?
I don't
No,
think-
April 1st is
Oh,
my
April
favorite holiday.
April 1st is your favorite holiday.
It's not
Yeah.
a holiday.
It's not even a holiday.
Yes, it is.
It is not.
April Fool's is totally a holiday.
If it's not on a generic basic calendar, it's not a real holiday.
I
Okay,
mean,
community, since you're not giving us any questions. Why don't you weigh on and weigh in on this and answer if April
good
Fool's
Lord.
is a holiday?
I'm not sure it's not though.
But,
Let me
I'm sure
check
it
right
is.
here because
Well, you look that up. I'm gonna go back into this though.
you're right. It doesn't show up on my
Because
calendar.
there is a delay, or because they're delaying it and pushing it back for the fans. They released a bunch of screenshots today. It looks real pretty.
Yes.
If they're pulling
It
those
does.
screenshots from this game and it looks that good, I don't know why we're getting it delayed. But they have their reasons.
Mm-hmm. And just make sure they're the right reasons.
I'm sure you'll never know the reasons it was delayed. They'll just tell you it was polished, even if it was broken.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. I hope they know what they're doing. Is what I'm saying. I
Rockstar
hope.
generally does right by us, so I'm thinking they need the time, give them the time. Well, that's the only bad news, so that's good. We did get a few release dates, though.
Yes.
So how about South Park: The Fractured But Whole?
Haha. Yeah, that's actually going to be released. Hopefully, which shows October 17th.
Yep, so that's coming out October 17th.
Cool. I'm pretty sure that's around when they Stick of Truth was released around October as well. But like 4 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah. I mean, this one was... The original release date was for December of this past year.
Oh.
So we already passed that
We
by.
already put. Well, yeah.
But October, that's not far away.
No, I mean, I will buy it, but it won't be right off the bat.
$60 for... Well, hopefully, maybe this game will be a little bit longer
Yeah.
than Stick of Truth.
I don't want to say I made a mistake buying the first one. I just think I shouldn't have.
Jump the gun so
Yeah,
quick.
exactly. I mean, I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun, but
That's one with single-player games. I feel like those you can kind of wait on.
yeah.
Unless you're trying to have a discussion with the community or whoever. So you actually need to be up to date. But it's more like multiplayer games where everybody initially rushes into it. That's probably those games you want to get when they first come out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think I'm gonna play Call of Duty for like 38 hours straight,
There you go.
and Destiny 2.
We touched on Marvel Heroes Omega a few weeks ago. You can actually hear that in the mic, just so you know.
I was looking to see if it would spike when I did that.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Marvel Heroes Omega, June 20th. So more things to play before our beloved Destiny 2 comes out.
Keep us busy.
We got a trailer for Lego Marvel Superheroes number 2.
Dose.
That's coming out November 14th. Waterloo and I, that was the one that we couch co-opted
Yes.
at the old house we used to live at.
Yes.
Where there was like 100 superheroes to choose from.
That was very fun.
That was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
This little teaser trailer that they show, it wasn't even a teaser, it was like 2 minutes long. A lot of Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, a lot of Baby Groot, just because that's the best way to market that game right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what's going on and that's what everybody loves. Baby Groot's the cutest Marvel character, so just plaster him all over your trailers.
Yeah, why not? Everyone likes a baby usually.
But yeah, they showed Doctor Strange, a bunch of people from Spider-Man. X-Men characters were absent, though, I'm pretty sure. Which I don't think they were in the last game. Cause,
No, I definitely remember being Wolverine.
yeah.
and
So I don't know if
At least Wolverine, I remember being.
that whole Sony, Disney, who owns what thing is
Badako.
going on.
Who knows anymore?
Yeah, but I
Like-
didn't see any X-Men, so that makes me think that they're probably out for this one. But I feel like they dig so, like, some of the characters are such deep cuts for the Marvel Universe that it was in this last game that I'm sure they can find a bunch more. This one I'm kind of excited about because it's only a week away. But Walking Dead: A New Frontier, episode 5, which is the final episode. I went to go play this game a few weeks ago after I beat 2. But I didn't want to start it because the episodes weren't out. This one's coming out. So next week, that'll be here. So I'll definitely be hopping into that next week. Or maybe I can start it this week because I probably won't beat it in a week. The first 4 episodes.
That's probably a good assumption.
Yeah. Too many other things to play. We got some... I think it was 4 15-second little teasers for Far Cry 5.
Oh, yes.
Which, you know how you were talking about that we talked about this a couple weeks ago, is that like a film crew is spotted in Montana filming or whatever.
Uh-huh.
They were filming these little teasers, so they're live action, like it's real people.
It looks awesome too.
like what they're going for in this game, it seems like, is it's definitely modern day Montana, and it seems like because one of the little clips, you heard a church bell ringing, and then it zoomed past this church. And if you looked up at like the steeple where the bell is, you just saw a guy smashing another guy's head against the bell to make it ring. So I don't know if it's going to be some kind of weird like culty stuff going on. I feel like that could be okay for a modern day game set in Montana, like a town overrun by some weird religious cult kind of thing. So maybe you're trying to take them down. The other games have been like tropical islands with crazy bad guys and like no rules, but this is in the United States.
Yeah. Well,
So-
I know they did say it was modern, but some of the, like that one dude running in the cornfield, his shirt, from what I saw, looked like it was more older. It looked kind of like a baggy flowing.
That
like,
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I'll go over the 4 clips first. I already talked about the first one. That was the church scene. It was a guy getting his head smashed in. Another one of them, it was just like a scenic river shot. So it was just showing like this nice calm river, and then you just see a dead body float on by the river. So there was that one. The one you had just brought up, the guy running through a field. It was just a big, tall, grassy field, and this guy's just running. He looks like he's just enjoying himself running, and then he gets shot in the back from, it looked like a ways away. And then the last one, it's just a view of the mountains, and you could see some of the forest, and then you just hear a dude scream like he's getting murdered, and all the birds fly up from the trees. They're all brief little things that it totaled like a minute long. Worldwide reveal for this though, May 26th. So we'll be able to talk more about this next week.
Yes,
for sure. But just from those 4 little clips, like, I'm pretty excited about this. It seems like a different story than what we're used to, which we could use that. So
yeah,
seems almost as like it might be a untouched Western society in Montana. Like you end up in the middle of Montana
with like some like weird hillbilly things, like where they just haven't caught up with the times in so long that
I could see that. Yeah,
like there's no authority, I would assume. And
the only authority is that who can kill the most people.
exactly. It's cool. I'm excited to see this in 3 days. So we'll definitely get back to you guys next week about this.
Hell yeah.
Shopa, give me something else. What else is out there? What's going on this week?
Well, I'm always a big fan of cinematic stuff, and what it looks like, I'm kind of excited about, is a Witcher TV series.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
super exciting because The Witcher knows how to tell stories. So
like, yeah, you said before that even your side missions you felt were some of the best told stories you've played in the game.
the one thing it's kind of weird about this though is that CD Projekt Red, they're the developers of The Witcher. Like they have nothing to do with this. So The Witcher is based off of some books. The TV series is also going to be based off those books. So we're going to be seeing 2 different angles, like 2 different people's ideas of what the Witcher universe is, I guess.
So the author is part of the shows. The author of the book.
He's going to be an advisor on the show. He's not going to be like producer. He's just, I don't know what an advisor, I mean, he just must advise on stuff, but he doesn't have like an actual title for the show. Like I don't think you'll see him in credits. He just wants to make sure that they're staying true to his books. Because that's one thing I read in some interview with him, was that he felt the Witcher games had kind of strayed from the path of the books that he'd written, which is good though, because like if you read the books, why bother playing a game that's telling the exact same stories? But like one thing that'll stay the same, I'm assuming, is a lot of the characters. Like Geralt is still going to be your main character. He's the main character in the books, main character in the games, and I'm sure for the TV show, he'll also be there. We don't know if we also don't know if it's going to be like a CG show or if it's going to be like real people.
live action.
Yeah. So it's definitely exciting though, and it's coming to Netflix. And generally, everything that comes to Netflix is pretty damn good.
So there's been a couple of Adam Sandler movies that have been.
That's true. He got
Getting a little
signed to way too long of a Netflix
with him.
deal, so trying to pump out one of those movies every year or whatever he has to do.
It's even faster than that, because there's no way the Cobbler, the Ridiculous Six, and Sandy Wexler those all have been so recent.
Yeah, and they all sound pretty bad. But
Yeah.
whatever. Hopefully,
this
The Witcher is going to go in the right direction as far
this'll
as
be
good
fine.
shows on Netflix.
Netflix, I would probably say real people. I lean towards, not more CGI.
Yeah, who knows? There's a lot of monsters in The Witcher. A huge
Yes,
part of
that's
that is monster. You're a witch hunter and also a monster hunter, but so I don't know if live action with CG monsters, if that's easier, if just doing everything in CG. I don't know how that works. I just hope the TV show's good.
If we knew how that worked, we wouldn't be working where we work. So
Damn straight. And while we're talking about Netflix, let's quickly talk about Amazon, who is going to have 4K content available for Xbox One S users. If you have the Amazon Video app, you will now have 4K content. If you have the 4K TV, which I know you do, Shopa, except for you don't have the Xbox One S. So
it works with Xbox One S and Amazon TV.
Yeah, so if you have an Amazon Prime account and you have Amazon Video and an Xbox One S and a 4K TV, then you're going to be able to experience some 4K content. Now, I know Netflix does it. They already have their 4K stuff out there. Now Amazon's bringing some of their stuff to the Xbox. So cool. For anyone out there who has those three things, enjoy your 4K content. And if you have the internet speed to stream 4K video, that's also important.
PS4 might have some cool exclusives, but at least we have Amazon, right?
Woohoo!
Yay!
That's right.
I think PS4 probably has Amazon too. But who knows?
Sony will go get you.
So those are a lot of the things that are in the news today, but the biggest thing of the week, the thing that we are all the most excited about, is obviously the Destiny 2 reveal event, which happened this past week.
That is very correct. It is.
Thank you.
So correct, and we are so pumped.
I was trying not to burp
You sound
in the
excited.
microphone.
Well, last time I got excited, I got a 3rd-degree rash from you guys. So I try to keep my excitement to a bare minimum.
No.
Is that when you screamed a loud choo-choo noise into the intro the first time we tried to record it?
Could have been.
If that was excitement, then yes, I would prefer you temper your excitement.
Yeah.
Less choo-choo noises.
You said train, and I thought choo-choo. You know?
Do you want a choo-choo noise? You can do it right now if you want it.
Choo-choo noise.
Are you saying okay?
I want to talk about Destiny 2 and how awesome it's gonna be.
I'm confused. Are you saying choo choo like CHOO, or are you saying choot? It sounds like you're saying choot choot.
Well, what sound does a train make?
All right. So we'll. Sorry for going off the rails.
This is why I don't get excited, everybody, because they question my excitement.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We're now a train podcast. If you're looking for any Xbox content, you're gonna have to leave at this point.
I suggested we start an antique train collectors podcast, but nobody seemed into it. So
I said,
hey, we probably have the same amount of audience we have right now.
Heyo.
But back to Destiny 2, I am super excited. I know.
So it was an hour-long event out in LA. They invited a bunch of people.
Not me.
Not us.
Unfortunately.
But a bunch of people got hands-on with it after the event. So there's already people that have checked out the first strike that they're showing, checked out PvP, got to play the first mission in the campaign. So let's just go to the beginning of the conference. The first thing we got was the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
It was Zavala. This was everything that happened leading up to the formation of the tower.
Yeah.
Them building the tower. It showed a ghost reviving Zavala, him coming to life, and then just kind of showing his struggles, fighting against the Fallen, getting killed, being brought back to life by the ghost, finally meeting up with a bunch of other Guardians, and then it shows them building the tower.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was most of it, right?
Which is what I asked for when we first started talking about Destiny is how did the tower get made? How did we get to this point?
Well, background information.
You run into the speaker before that. Like, he's there just around a fire with a bunch of other people. They showed, it was like we got more history and lore from Destiny in this 2-minute trailer than we got from a majority of Destiny.
To be all
the
fair,
original Destiny.
They had no time to explain why they had no time to explain.
Well, thank God
what they should have explained.
They finally, hopefully, will have time to explain what they didn't have time to explain in the previous game.
Yeah.
Speaking of things like lore, though, Grimoire cards. Bleh, see you later.
Yes.
See ya.
So how do you guys feel about not having to go to your computer or your cell phone to read these Grimoire cards that aren't in the game, and that's where you had to get your story? You feel good about them not being there anymore?
Yes. I mean, it really didn't bother me either way because I don't think I used them at all. I don't think I read one Grimoire card.
Nope.
So it's kind of like it's kind of like since I didn't use it, I didn't mind to lose it type deal.
But I'm happy that they're not putting them in the game now, and we get our lore in game.
Yeah. So like
Which I hope they do that.
They brought up the Grimoire cards, and I think there's some people who are super into the lore, super into Grimoire cards, whatever. So I think they might have questioned Bungie, and Bungie said that we have these new adventure missions, which you can just find out on the different worlds. They're going to be NPCs that you're going to get like side missions from, and they're hoping that they can convey the story to you through these side missions, through actual gameplay, through NPCs talking to you, so you don't have to go and look for Grimoire. Look for your stories in these Grimoire cards. So
Nice.
that's definitely awesome.
I'm excited for it to be in game. Honestly.
Yeah.
I think that's what most people probably wanted when they were playing Destiny. I mean, I feel like that's what most people want during playing
any
a game.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's unnecessary to go elsewhere to try to find game content unless it's extra, information.
If it's
I
maybe some side content, side
Campaign.
content or backstory for maybe like a side character or something,
Yeah.
then it might be okay to get it that way. But like your main characters, these people you're seeing, it's weird because we played. It's been 3 years since original Destiny came out. We had the Vanguard, who was Zavala, Ikora, Cade. We had these characters that are there all the time, standing around this table, giving us missions. If they were lost in the tower when the tower got exploded, at that point I don't think I would have cared because the characters weren't fleshed out at all.
They were just people. They were like the robots that are
They were like the
sweeping-
sweeper bot,
Yeah.
who is confirmed to be alive even after the tower gets destroyed, which we'll get to in a minute. But just this little teaser of Zavala, like I watched this 2-minute thing with Zavala and how he
became Zavala. Well, not so much became Zavala, became a guardian.
became the guardian he is,
Yeah.
and built the tower. So now you care. It's like they need these stories about each one of them,
to make
about all these characters, to make you really care about them, and
make you want to go rescue them or find them wherever they are in the universe.
And one thing they said was that like there's more cutscenes here than all of Destiny. Like we heard you guys say you wanted your story, so here it is,
So
and
they
we saw
listened.
that. So
Nice.
the first thing they went into, it was they let us play part of the first mission, Homecoming. So do you want to? Either of you want to
Homecoming was like
take Homecoming? Yeah.
What was his Garrick? Gross?
Gall.
Gall?
Gaul.
Gall. What are the
Gary.
Gary? There we go. I'm thinking Gary. I like Gary. He does sound less intimidating. Make me want to beat him up more. But anyway, sorry Gary's out there. But Gary decides to use the Red Army to come. I think it's the Red Army, right?
That sounds right. Yeah. Red Nation.
Red Army.
Something. Red Army.
Yeah, Red.
He's a
Cabal.
Yeah, the Red Cabals to come to Earth and basically show the Traveler that they chose the wrong people to entrust the light with, and basically mess up all of our Guardians' days. You know, just crack some skulls, as I like to put it.
Throughout the first mission, you see his army come out of what seems to just be a kind of a thunderstorm out of nowhere.
So there's like a super bad storm. Zavala and Ikora are trying to figure out
what this story is all about.
This storm's down, like where like our satellites are getting like good images from or whatever, and they're like, no, we're not getting anything from anywhere. And then you just see hundreds of ships from the Cabal fleet, from Gaul's fleet, coming in, and they release this ship that it like encages the Traveler.
Yeah.
It's this giant ship that spreads its little arms out and just pretty much hugs the Traveler, and by doing this, it creates a field around it, which cuts off all light
given to all the
Guardians. So you see Zavala fall down to the ground. He looks weak. All the Guardians are weak.
Yeah, they're all stumbling and stumbling around trying to survive. I think this is how they're showing and how they're taking all of our powers away from us and justifying starting over as new Guardians.
Yeah, so in that first mission, you see the tower collapsing. You
see your vaults.
You see your vault get
destroyed.
smashed. There goes all that loot from the past 3 years.
Yep.
And someone comes over the intercom and is like, we need to find the speaker.
Mm-hmm.
So you go over, like, if you're standing in the tower, like you just got there, you take a left, go over to where the speaker is. You get through there, and that tower that the speaker was in is just completely gone.
Bye-bye.
So, see you later, speaker. I'm sure he's somewhere. We'll find him eventually in the game. I would hope so.
And then you see
Ikora comes in with her giant Nova bomb, screws up a bunch of Cabal, and then
vanishes.
And then hops onto one of the ships and Nova bombs the side of it, blows it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just disappears on the ship. So, like, where'd she go?
No one knows.
And then you get to go through that doorway that Xur would always stand in front of.
It's always locked, but you're always wondering what's behind
this
door.
Yeah, we had all these events in Destiny, and, like,
they never opened it.
That one door that was straight back, eventually we got the Iron Banner guy was back there, and it was like, oh, there's actually something here.
That's what this is for.
Great.
House of Wolves.
Yeah.
But
nowadays, it's literally open, but it's empty. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
Just run back in there.
But so they finally opened up this door to the far left of the tower where Xur always used to stand in front of, and there's like ramen shops and souvenir gift shops. I don't know what the stuff was, and you're running through it. Everything's on fire.
It looks like someplace I would like to check out before it was burning. But...
yeah. So pretty much, Gaul comes down and screws everybody's day up, takes all the light, and our faithful leaders, the Vanguard, they scatter, going to different planets, trying to cope with the event in the ways they can.
Bunch of babies is what I think they are.
If you had to take a guess out of our 4 new planets, which are Earth, Io, Nessus, and
3 new planets.
Okay, 3 new planets.
Not a new planet.
And the last one's Titan. Where do you think Zavala went?
Zavala. Didn't Zavala go to Titan?
Ah.
I wonder why they chose that place.
Cade went to Nessus. He's trying to do something.
Which makes sense because Nessus was taken over by
the Vex.
The Vex. Vex are machines. He's a machine.
That could be why he's going there. And then Ikora goes to Io, it's the furthest planet, or it was the last planet that was touched by the Traveler before it came to Earth, I guess.
Yeah.
So she went there searching for answers.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of this campaign is going to be going to each one of these new planets, trying to find
for our Guardian help.
Our fearless leaders.
Obviously,
all while trying to save the Traveler, obviously, because that's important, and get all the Guardians' light back. It's a great setup, I think. I'm pumped for this campaign. They said it's going to be the longest campaign they've had, which you would hope so. They showed off one strike that I don't even want to look at it. I heard it's awesome. It's like it has multiple parts to it, like raid light, I would say. Like has some raid mechanics, but isn't going to take you 3 hours to beat.
I'm hoping they have more than just this one raid.
More than one raid?
No, I mean, sorry, more than one strike.
Yeah, the wording on it was weird. There's no way. I think someone said they had 6 or 7 strikes in Vanilla Destiny when it first came out. There's no way we're only getting 1 strike.
Yeah.
The way he worded it, though, is just like, and this is our new strike.
Yeah.
It was like, 1?
Yeah.
There's only 1? But, so that looks awesome. What else?
No going to orbit.
No going to orbit.
Awesome. How much time did you waste going to orbit just to pick the place where you wanted to go next? I wasted a ton of time doing that. Just like these dogs are wasting our time.
Barking.
But yeah, that's going to be awesome. You can now literally just be like, oh, I want to go to Titan from Earth, and just boop, jump into your spaceship and fly.
Yeah, so I don't think I wouldn't mind orbit as being like a lobby.
Yeah,
Like
still.
to just like, oh hey, we're all like, let's go eat dinner or whatever, we'll meet back, and then just leaving yourself in orbit. But like you said, to go from Titan to Io, I don't want to have to go to orbit and then go down to Io.
back up and down.
I just want to open up my map or whatever and be like, time to go here, and then go for it.
Speaking of maps, they put a map in. Who is pumped like me?
Yeah, so like the only map we got before is
You have to leave the planet just to look at the map.
yeah.
Which is like, oh, hey, let's go to orbit once again.
It was only in like the guide or whatever. It's like, we're gonna go to Venus, and like there's the map of Venus. But if you're on Venus and you need to get to it wherever, good luck.
And it wasn't really even a map. Well, it was a map, but it was like
No, it just had like locations on it. But so these new maps are actually they're gonna like tell you where the side quests are, tell you where maybe treasure chests are. If you get like a map or something like that,
they'll also show where public events are happening. Like you said, the special events, public events, and trials or something. Not trials, but
I forgot what those stupid things are called. Do you
Yeah.
remember what those called? Like the hidden like dungeons and stuff.
But
no.
they have two ends.
It looks like a
one
rainbow.
end
It looks like a
titled
double
small end
rainbow.
with a dot. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are new places on your map. I think we saw 3 of them.
Mhm.
Like it showed a map, and
Oh, that guy wore a shirt with it on it.
Yes. he
God.
did.
yeah, I don't remember what they're called though. They look like you've been playing Zelda,
Yeah.
like a temple kind of.
Uh-huh.
Like so there'll be like 3 temples in it.
Locations. Yeah.
Yeah, and he would be like, or Luke Smith said that like, you'll find like an entryway or see something, and then you have to solve a puzzle to actually like get into this, and then once you get into it, there's gonna be a chest like at the end of this dungeon,
Uh-huh.
and there's gonna be a boss who's gonna be there guarding whatever is in the treasure, and he's gonna have the key to the treasure. So he made it sound pretty sweet.
Yeah. Now with you saying that, it sounds like this is something that's only going to be able to be done once.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
we had talked about that. I'm still not. I'm hoping it comes with like, we put people put thousands of hours into this game. You can't do something that they're only going to do once and then not come back to it. I guess.
I imagine you could do it again, but I feel like you'll only get good loot out of it once.
Well, what if there's a weekly, like if these are
weekly
challenging
update?
enough, if there's a weekly
reset?
the more stuff they put in there for you to do, the longer you're going to be in game, which is exactly what they're shooting for.
True.
So if there's 2 of them on each planet or 3 of them, maybe like 1 unlocks each week.
But this also sounds like something that is story driven. So
See, I don't think this is story driven at all. I think this is like taking away, like there's still going to be public events, but I feel like it's just something that's on the planet for you to do as like side content, like the Archon's Forge, something like that. It's something you can go in and you can grind, or maybe you can't grind.
We shall see. I don't know. I feel like it's something.
I don't
that's
think
only gonna
because
be
you
done.
have your specific story missions accompanied with like a strike and then a raid at the end. It's like none of the patrolling Earth, patrolling the places that we used to patrol. Nothing you did while patrolling was really story based.
No,
so I don't
that's
know why
true.
that would change while you're patrolling now.
Because it's a special secret tomb dungeon.
I guess
Lost Sector.
There it is.
Lost Sectors. Yep, that's what they're called. Good call.
Yeah. and How can you continue to explore a lost sector over and over again? Unless they
How
create.
can you kill the same boss over and over again after you kill him the first time?
Yes, that is
It's
true.
a game about grinding and getting loot. They need to give us avenues, all different avenues, PvE avenues, PvP avenues to get this loot.
Yeah.
So
Maybe they do like a weekly thing.
that's what I said, like a
Yeah.
weekly reset. Like you can go into each one once, and that's when you'll get loot. Come back next week and try it again.
Yes and no. I would say I would like to see more of, you can do it once for, say, an epic drop. But then if you wanted to grind out loot, or say like this dropped, your chest plate and your helmet, even if you've done it once and gotten the epic, if you go back, maybe it just gives you a legendary instead, or something along those lines, where
So my
once
thing
a week
there-
you can get something super sweet. But then if you need to grind it out for other stuff, you don't get cheaped out by not being able to do it.
But the whole game is you grinding, looking for that epic loot. So I just think it's going to be on a table like 3% of the time. That lost sector will roll something sweet for it. It's going to be like everything else in the game where it's completely luck and RNG.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Why
but-
would they change just that one aspect, I guess? That's weird. Nothing in Destiny was build up to get this one thing that you know you're gonna get. Like everything was RNG in that game. And
well, I'm except for the Vex missile class. You know, you knew that if you did this,
yeah, you knew where.
every
Okay,
time.
so that could be like this. Like one of the lost sectors could have a specific exotic, but like not everybody's gonna get it. People looked for the Galahorn for years and never got it. The Vex Mythic class, most of the people we play with, I don't think ever got it.
I never got it.
So you might know where to get this stuff. I don't know. I think it would be weird if they did it any other way than...
Well, I'm not saying you can only play it once. I'm just saying the replay value of it won't be nearly as high or as profitable as the replay of a strike or a...
Well, why would they do that to themselves, though?
Why?
I mean,
just like it is like patrolling Earth. It's
Well,
like something like that. It's
so
something
it's-
to kill time waiting for your friends to come
Well,
back.
that's the thing.
from eating.
I don't think they want you to... They don't want it to seem like, hey, this is just something you can do to, like, pass time.
It's more contact that you can do as a solo player. That's what I feel like that is.
I think maybe the tier of it will be less. Like, obviously, your best gear is going to come from a hard mode raid.
Yeah.
Below that, a normal raid, nightfall strikes, regular strikes, story missions. That's pretty much where we're at now. And then patrolling probably you get
Way down
nets
there,
you the
yeah.
same stuff as normal missions.
Uh-huh.
So maybe these lost sectors fall somewhere near like a nightfall.
Okay.
So you're not gonna get like the best gear in the game from this randomly, but you might get a random exotic once in a while, like a small chance. I would assume they'll keep it that way because that's how the game has been the past 3 years. It'd be weird if they changed it.
But also, you're saying that it's not in their Destiny now, right?
The lost sectors?
No, that type where you can only get a set of loot for a little while, but then if you continually do it, you don't get that type of loot anymore.
Well,
It's the same thing with like the weekly Nightfall and the weekly Strike. You can only get Legendary Marksman if you do it twice. Like you do it, or this.
that's what I'm saying. You can do this once, and then it resets. That's the same. Like those, what you're talking about, resets every week. You can get those marks every week when they reset.
Yes, but you can only do it once a week. Which
He's
is
saying,
exactly
like,
what
That's
I'm
what I'm
saying.
saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying, though.
Okay, so we're on the same page. Okay, so that's cool. The lost sectors, I think, are gonna be awesome. It's gonna give you something to do while you're patrolling. Along with, they're still gonna have like the public events, which the public events on the map now, they're actually gonna have timers. So instead of going to a website to figure out when a certain public event's happening at a certain place, it'll just tell you on the map now, so you don't have to look for that stuff. So if you have a bounty to get one certain type of them done, you'll just be able to look at your map and go from there. What else? PvP. You want to talk about PvP?
the whole 4v4,
Yeah. So the format now is 4v4
which
across the board.
Every
I
game of time.
kind of don't like that as much, just because the fact we have a pretty decent sized clan that we usually get together.
It's weird
Yeah.
because there's certain things that I always wanted, like strikes and stuff. It always seemed like we need a fourth person.
Yeah.
Or like we have
Or
a fourth
fourth
person,
person.
but it's only 3 persons. So
Yeah,
But then our fallback would be, okay, let's just play PvP.
we got 5 people now.
Let's go to the Crucible. We have 6 people, perfect, or a raid, and those are your 2 options.
I wish they would do like a setting where you can it could be either be 4v4 or 6v6.
Yeah, like just have a game mode, like a
you know.
combined arms. That was the playlist in PvP before, where it was all the big maps with like vehicles,
Yeah.
which we rarely saw.
Yeah.
But yeah, just have a mode where it's like this is going to be 6v6. I don't know if it has something to do with the game's infrastructure, like if this is just easier. I'm sure it's easier just taking 4v4 and going across the boards.
Oh yeah.
But certain things, like you said, you have 5 people. Now what do you do? You have 6 people. Now what do you do? You raid or you split up into teams.
Yeah,
I
and
guess.
do your strikes or something.
One weird thing about the 4v4 is Trials of Osiris, I think, is going to be weird now. Going from 3v3 to 4v4. I don't know. Trials just always felt super like close combat and tight knit, and now
Putting an extra
like
person
it felt
into there.
completely different from the other game modes. And now it's going to have the same player count as the rest of them. So I don't know if that's going to be weird. That's still where the most competitive people in the game are going to be.
Oh yeah.
But
I do know Call of Duty did this at least a couple of games ago. I haven't played enough of the multiplayers now, but they made ranked playlists 4v4. So it was a lot more competitive. So if you're there to be competitive, you have a playlist that you can play on and you won't get crappy players. Whereas if you went into like Search and Destroy 6v6, you can get that level 3 kid who just likes to play Search and Destroy and totally destroys you. So I'm worried that this is so that they can be more competitive with Call of Duty and Overwatch and your FPSs.
It seems like they're trying to get a player count that would be like, hey, this is esports worthy. Pay attention to us.
Mm-hmm. Which I never in my wildest dreams will ever think of Destiny or Destiny 2 as an esport. Ever.
Why?
And I try to make a lot of things esports. There's too much variety of weaponry for it to be balanced, in my opinion.
Yeah, and like people who get like god rolls of a shotgun with like the perfect perks, they're always gonna be able to out shotgun somebody who doesn't have knee pads and rangefinder.
So then you get to the thing like we've talked about in For Honor, where if you do get into an esport or you do get into a ranked playlist, do you take away rolls on weapons?
I would assume so.
Yeah, make it even.
But yeah, I guess that's weird because like with Destiny, there's so many different weapon types.
Well, because it feels more like a RPG in that sense. With
so that's why like you said, I think it is tough as an esport because what you'd have to do is be like, there's 3 different types of pulse rifle. You can have a super fast firing one with low damage, a super slow one that does really high damage, or one that's in the middle, and then like they don't come with extra perks. Like that's how you would have to do it. So you could pick those between those 3 options, and it would be like that'd be the same for like a scout. Like it'll shoot a lot faster, do a lot less damage. Same exact thing. I feel like that's what they would have to do is just give you these stock weapons and like armor. I don't think you'd get any type of buffs from anything because it would just have to be, if it's going to be an esport, it would have to be completely level. It'd have to be a level playing field.
Well, I imagine they could give buffs to the armors, but the buffs would only be able to be like, okay, I want to buff up my grenade power, so one person is able to use more grenades.
Like here's 10 skill points.
Use them how you want.
Put them because everybody could make, as long as everybody's able to make the same exact build.
Yes.
Then there's probably not an issue. Because then if one person finds a competitive build, everybody else could follow it.
Yeah. The other thing is it's the gun setup is weird, especially coming into Destiny 2 where they kind of changed the gun setup, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk about it now. So instead of doing the primary, secondary, and heavy, now we have energy, kinetic, or I think it's kinetic, energy, and then power. So kinetic weapons are going to be your weapons that don't have like a burn. It's going to be like just your rifle, your scout rifle that just shoots like a normal bullet. Your energy weapons are going to be things like a scout that does void damage or whatever. And then power weapons now are things like snipers, fusion rifles, grenade launchers, and I would assume rocket launchers. So it's definitely weird because if you wanted, you could have 2 hand cannons.
Yep.
Like I could have the Fate Bringer and then just a normal weapon that doesn't have a burn. So you could be rocking double pistols.
No, would you be able to use them at the same time?
So this is weird because I think it was IGN that interviewed Mark Noseworthy, one of the guys that works on the game, and he said if you have certain guns in certain slots, like something will happen. He was super cryptic about it, but like you just said, maybe if you have 2 pistols in there, you could actually like akimbo, like dual wield. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I would try to rock a hand cannon and a sidearm personally. Maybe a sidearm.
Maybe just 2 sidearms. That seems like it'd be right up your alley.
No, I would like the hand cannon because you have the big power to take down the shield initially. Then you have the small
finish them off.
Yeah.
Right. But you see the biggest thing with that is then at that point you wouldn't be able to aim the hand cannon.
That's
this akimbo would all be hip fire.
Right.
Yeah, true.
And I know with hand cannons, I can't use them because it's a lot of chest and headshot based shooting, and I can't aim very well
I can't
with hand cannons. I can barely snipe in this game, and I call myself a sniper in almost every other game. So that's why I just rock assault rifles and just try to pepper their face with bullets.
It's good.
But so in going back to this and like an esport or anything else, I think balancing the fact that you can have 3 different weapons is so hard, because in any esport now, you have your main weapon. If you choose to have a secondary, you have a secondary, and then you have the rest of your loadout. Where in this, they'd have to include the loadout for the grenade power, or take extra grenade damage, something like that. Plus, you have to balance the use of 3 separate weapons.
Yeah, I'm not saying it would be easy. I mean, if anyone can do it, it'll be them. But it won't compete with other games that are out there right now. You're not going to beat out Call of Duty. You're not going to beat out Counter-Strike. So
I guess if this pulls a 5 to 10% of people like away from Call of Duty half the time, and they're like, "Well, let's just try out the PvP here, and see what happens." I mean, that's another 10% of people who might get into the game.
Well, they had Red Bull sponsored. It was a Destiny tournament last year or the year before. It was based off of Trials. I think it was Trials. I didn't watch the thing, but I think that's like as close as they've gotten to esports. I don't even know if there's prizes or anything. I mean, a lot of people in this game are super competitive. If you can give them the right setup for it, then I think it'd be fun to watch. I'd watch it, just because I know the game better than any other game. So we had a redesign of weapon slots. We also saw some new supers.
Yes.
Anyone?
You sound like you were almost thrilled on talking about supers, so I was going to let you head with it.
Yeah, supers are great. All right, so we got the Arc Strider for the Hunter. This looks identical to
Blade Runner.
Blade Dancer.
Pretty
So
much.
now it's Pole Dancer, I think, is what this one's going to be.
I would more go with Gambit on it with electricity flowing through his body.
Definitely just
with
Blade Dancer to Pole Dancer.
We'll go
I
that
think
way.
that's pretty good. So you now have a staff, and your guy does
Staff
gymnastic tricks, and it looks exactly like Blade Dancer. I'm not thrilled about it unless we're getting more supers that we don't know about, and this is taking the place of Blade Dancer. It seems repetitive.
Yeah.
Compared to the other ones, which we'll get
Compared to
into.
the other ones, which are also kind of repetitive, because, okay, next we'll talk about Dawnblade. Dawnblade is the new Warlock super that looks exactly like the Hammer of Soul, the Hammer Titan,
but just switched out with a sword.
except for its swords. So she flies up in the air. She can whip swords. She can hit people from close range with them. It's a fire attack, solar attack, whatever you want to call it.
But keeping with those 3 kinetic, fire, and
Arc, Void, and Solar.
Void and Solar. Thank you. I was struggling there. It almost feels like it would be hard to create a whole new class in that sense. Keeping with those 3 things, unless they decided to add in something else or like really think outside of the box. But I think they were putting all their effort in more to the game, the PvP, the new gun mechanics.
Yeah, sure.
I feel like
If everything else turns out perfect, then great.
I feel like these last new classes were more of a kind of a not so much last ditch effort, but just
It was
more
on the back burner.
Yeah.
But then the last one we got is the Captain America Sentinel for Titans.
Exactly.
You have a shield, looks just like Captain America's shield. You do with it exactly what Captain America does. You just whip it at people. You block incoming fire with it. Cool. That's the most different. That's the newest thing that we've seen out of it. So that's cool. I do know that they reworked some of the old supers.
They did.
The Ground Pound Titan.
Which I feel like they buffed it almost.
It's a roaming super now. So you can use Ground Pound multiple times.
Which
seems obnoxious.
Yeah, I would not like to get ground pounded 15 times.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
3 times by.
It's like instead of getting teabagged now, you're just gonna get ground pounded 5 times in a row.
It's gonna be obnoxious.
Great.
So I hope they also mess with the Void Walker then, and I can use roaming Nova Bombs in that
Yeah,
case.
just let me throw 15 Nova Bombs.
Yeah.
One thing that the people that got to play the PvP did say was that supers do take a lot longer
to gain
now. So maybe if they are a little bit more powerful, there might be a good trade-off there. Hopefully they strike a perfect balance. The Gunslinger for the Hunter, there's now an option for a 6-shooter. So instead of
1 to 3 shots.
it was 3.
Yeah.
1, 3, or 4 if you had that one helmet on. You got the extra shot. Now it's 6 bullets, but they cut down the duration of the time you have. So yes, you're getting 6 shots, but the amount of time you actually have your super is a lot less.
Okay.
So this is only going to be suitable for 6 shots. There's only 4 people on the other team, so I guess they're just
gives
giving
you 2 times to miss.
Give you 2 misses, and they need to be clumped together pretty well or pretty closely. Those are the only 2 new ones I saw. As far as them revamping it, the Gunslinger, his he has the throwing knives.
Yep.
They're explosive now, which is
Ooh.
cool. So if you throw them into somebody, it hits them and then they explode.
Makes
or
sense.
like
It was a fire.
yeah. So you can like throw them into walls now. Like if somebody's coming around a corner, you can hit the wall and then it'll detonate on the wall. That looked kind of cool.
So you must be talking to Batman then,
I guess so.
getting those exploding shurikens.
Sure. Yeah. They did away with the what were those 3 meters? Yeah, discipline, intellect, and strength.
Yes.
Those are gone.
Yep.
So you're gonna get bonuses for that stuff are just gonna be built into the armor now. So now it might say like takes 5 seconds off of your super count or takes 5 seconds off your grenade count instead of having like this weird superficial number.
I mean, they eventually did. They didn't. The superficial number did eventually change more to like it'll take a minute and a half to get your super.
Yeah, well, I think they finally just gave you the actual time it was going
count,
to take
yeah.
instead of just this bar that you weren't
Sure was
going on. Yeah, where I am. Is there anything else? I feel like that was. Oh, okay. So clans and guided games. We had clans in the last game. It was all from your computer, just like the Grimoire cards. It gave you like a title. So like it said Milkshake Boys for us because that was our sweet clan.
Yep. The Milkshake Boys.
But now it's actually going to be in the game. So they're going to have like custom banners that you can make. Or maybe, actually, I'm not
I think
sure.
the clan leader can make that. I'm assuming that they would leave that up to the clan leader to make.
The clan leader, but then I'm assuming that they're probably not too custom. Because I'm picturing a lot of dicks on all these banners if you give people complete customization.
Oh, yeah. It's probably something like as For Honor does when you're making your shield cover. They give you generic cookie cutter pictures.
Yeah, but how many can you use, though?
You unlock them as you go along.
But how many can I overlay?
I think you could overlay like 4.
Okay, see, like that wouldn't be bad, but like Black Ops 3, like the Call of Duty games, you had all these
Pictures,
shapes,
yeah.
but you could overlay 100 of them to make a dick. You could take 100 circles and make these pictures.
If you really want to make your clan sign a dick,
I'm sure that's what half of.
I mean, I know
people
I
out there
wouldn't
want
want my clan sign to be a dick.
Neither would I.
I made a Naruto picture with a shotting gun.
Okay, we're talking about dicks here. Let's get back on the topic.
I mean, it was just it was the things you could do. The cool things you could do were really, really cool when you could do that. But then, yeah, there are also people that like write like your clan's a bitch or stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'm assuming Bungie will be good about if it is that customizable that they'll be putting out bans for people that kind of do stuff like that, because they want to keep it clean, obviously.
Yeah,
I think the For Honor thing is a good idea. Like maybe give you a bunch of different shapes and whatnot that you can use, but then maybe limit you to only laying 10 of them down.
Yeah.
So that if you do make a dick, it's only going to look like a weird blocky one and not like a super realistic one with veins and stuff.
Big veiny triumphant.
Big veiny triumphant guy.
You hit Becca with my dick?
Oh Lord.
PC version coming out later than the consoles. Actually, they don't have a release date for it yet, but that's only going to be available through Battle.net, which is Blizzard owned,
Great
which
pickup by
is
Blizzard.
Activision owned, who owns Bungie and Destiny. So I didn't when I
weird.
first saw it, those didn't click, but that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So good pickup for Blizzard. Just another way to make Activision way more money than they'll ever know what to do with.
Work for Activision. Activision, if you're hiring, let us know. We talk badly, and we can kind of play Xbox.
So if you need those
Speak
two
for
things,
yourself. I talk poorly.
I like it.
Listen here.
So as far as we know, Destiny's locked at 4K.
Did you hear that bird?
Yeah, I did. I hear every weird thing he does over there that he doesn't think anyone can hear.
I'm sorry.
It is kind of hot up here. I won't lie.
It is warm.
Maybe if I wasn't wearing a long sleeve shirt, but
I think that's your bad, though.
It was chilly this morning.
All right. The PS4 Pro, which is PlayStation's best console right now, their biggest, baddest one, it couldn't get Destiny to 4K 60 frames.
But yet
it wasn't a graphical
exclusive.
What?
But yet they still got the exclusive content.
Which is one reason to go there. That's where you want to be. That terrible place. Just kidding. Kind of.
Exclusive content. Ugh. Who needs it?
So it wasn't a GPU thing in the PlayStation Pro. It was the CPU that couldn't handle it. So they just couldn't. I don't know if it even got close to 60, but they couldn't lock it at 60 because it wasn't powerful enough. So this brings up something I want to talk about. Do you think, like, we're gonna get the Scorpio? Awesome. Do you think that the older consoles now are going to be holding back Scorpio? Like, just to be clear, the frames per second and how the game runs is completely up to the developers. So this is Bungie's call. Like, Xbox is like, here, this is how much power you have. Do with it what you will. Lots of games. Call of Duty is always 60 frames per second. I'm sure we'll see 4K 60 with Call of Duty games. But as of now, everything except for the Scorpio, they were asked about Scorpio on what they thought it was going to come out at, if it was going to be 4K 30, which is what every other console is out now is locked at. And they said at this time, we're not talking about the specs for the Scorpio. So I would assume if they said that, then we might actually get a 4K 60 version.
I see saving face here. I don't think that you're looking at the Xbox One or the Xbox One S holding this back. I think you're looking at, this is a PS4 exclusive, but PS4 can't run at 60 FPS, so let's save our asses and run it at what the PS4 Pro can do, because that's what they feel like more players are going to play it on the PS4 Pro and the PS4, because that's where the exclusivity is. Therefore, they're going to come out with it at 30 FPS, and then they're going to be like, on the side, they're going to be like, oh, by the way, you Scorpio kids, here's a special edition for you running at 4K 60 FPS on your 4K computers. That's going to look really, really cool.
I hope so. It sucks if we're going to get this hefty of a machine with this much horsepower behind it and then not be able to run this. The PC version of it is completely unlocked. So they can run it at the 4 billion million frames per second and
I mean, once you get over
8K and
60, your eyes can't tell the difference.
Well, son of a gun.
But
I can't tell the
everything
difference between 30 and 60, really. So
if you blink your eyes really quick, I don't think it helps. Just want to let you know.
Can you blink fast enough? Can you blink 60 times in 1 second? No. If you do that, you're seeing life in like 3 frames per second. Can you imagine trying to play a video game like that?
Well, it's when you're driving on the highway and you blink your eyes and you look at the side of the road, you can see things go by slower.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't think it's very safe.
I don't think you should be blinking that much while you're driving on the highway. But
I'm just saying. I was thinking outside the box, like many people don't do.
But yeah, to that point, I don't think you're gonna see too much of the Xbox One S or the Xbox One holding back Scorpio. I think that Microsoft is going to give us every opportunity with developers to play what we want to play at the beautifulness of 60 FPS 4K that we want.
Yeah, like I don't think we'll never see a first-party Microsoft game that can't run 4K 60. it's going to be these third-party developers that it's up to them what they're going to give us. But a lot of the development companies that also like they make the game for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, I feel like they're not releasing a PC version of their games at anything less than 4K 60 nowadays. I would hope. So if they can do it there, hopefully they can do it for the Scorpio.
Maybe you just buy a PC version for your Scorpio.
Just try to jam a PC disc into...
Well, maybe they just make it... Maybe the digital content isn't that hard to cross over.
Let's hope so.
Because it's pretty much... If you take all the parts out of a Scorpio and put it into like a tower for a computer, you have a computer. You literally have a computer in the Scorpio with the power it has and everything coming through.
Yeah.
So maybe they could do that as well.
All right. So that was the bulk of the news. Destiny. I'm pumped. I wish it was here now. That Friday I won't be at work.
Oh, that...
I hope...
Did we go to
I hope
work?
a lot of people aren't at work.
Do we go to work the next week?
I think we probably have to do that. I'm hoping since it's a Friday, going into that weekend, I'll just have my
whole schedule open.
have everything open and just literally be able to play as much as I want for 72 hours. That sounds fantastic.
Just Mountain Dew and pizza bites and just play as long as I physically can stay awake.
I was thinking a lot of cocaine, but Mountain Dew's fine.
I don't condone hard drugs.
Kickstarters.
That's where I'm at.
I like them.
They're good.
What,
Better than-
monster guy myself.
If you drink too many of those, you can die, though.
Yeah, because your Kickstarters won't kill you either.
They won't. They say it on the menu. They say it on the
It
menu.
says it right on the can. It says
Will not
consuming
kill
too
you.
many of these will not kill you.
Okay, Kickstarters have juice and coconut water in them. They can't be that bad for you.
All right, so that was the news. Let's quickly get into deals and games with gold with Shopa.
All right. Games with gold. Haven't changed since last week. I'll run over them real quick. Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris. You'll hear more from us about that coming up a little bit later. Gianna Sisters Twisted Dreams. I didn't play any of it. I feel like nobody else did either.
Nope.
Damn. And Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga.
I also put in there that Phantom Dust is free. It's an older 360 game. They brought that up. It's free, so you can go get it. I don't know if it's going to be free forever. I'm not sure. It might just be a free game now, but look into that if you want.
And they've also released June's Games with Gold. All
right, let's hear them.
So, Speedrunners.
All right, no idea what that is.
Me neither. Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs for the second half. I had to have gotten through almost that whole game. It was fun. It was different than anything I was playing back then. Watch Dogs is definitely fun, and for free $99, you can't go wrong.
Definitely. Assassin's Creed 3.
Yep. So these are the 360 games.
And Dragon Age Origins.
All right. So not the worst slate, not the best slate of games.
An average slate.
Yeah, I would say average.
Pretty average. So your deals with gold, we'll run through them real quick.
So for the first one, I would say that every edition of Battlefield
1.
at this point, at Battlefield 1, is 50% off.
Yep. Crimson Dragon at 75% off. Dark Dreams Don't Die, 75% off. Dead Rising 3 and 4. Looks like most editions are between 40 and 60% off. Dovetail Games Euro Fishing.
Ah, there you go. I know you love fishing.
Not on my console. Yeah.
It's like if you could do it in real life,
might as well go do it in real life.
Yeah.
All right.
Forza Horizon 3 and Horizon 2 bundle are 40% off. And Forza Motorsport 6 and Forza Motorsport 5 are a bundle. So Forza putting out some games for us a little inexpensive there.
That was 50% off.
Yes, Guzzlers Extreme, 33% off. Gears of War 4 and the Ultimate Edition, 50 and 40% off respectively. I played Gears of War 4, actually. I did that whole campaign with a buddy of mine. We've done all Gears of War campaigns together.
Gears of War 4 is good. I didn't get all the way through it, though.
Grand Prix Rockin' Racing. I'm seeing a trend here for 50% off. Seems like there's a lot of racing games. Well, Halo 5 Guardians, Halo Wars 2 Standard, and Halo Wars 2 Ultimate Edition. 50% off, 35% off, and 35% off. So a couple of Halo games out there for you. I'm trying to change it up a little bit. There's so many of these. I'm just trying to make it
There's
seem
a lot of these.
anything
I'm gonna
interesting.
help you. I'm gonna help you go down here. How's that sound?
Okay.
Killer Instinct. 40% off. Mafia 3, the digital deluxe version and the normal one, both 50% off. Quantum Break, which was our game of the week a couple weeks ago, 60% off. Recore, 50% off. Rise of the Tomb Raider, that's a good one, 50% off. If you don't have that, that one's definitely worth playing.
That's the newer one, right?
Yeah, that's the newest one.
I might have to get that, especially after being disappointed with what I just played.
Spoilers.
Rise Son of Rome, the Legendary Edition, 67% off. What else? State of Decay Year 1 Survival Edition, which
Recommend.
definitely recommend.
Especially for an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah,
Don't have many of those.
State of Decay 2 is coming out. Mm-hmm. I would assume by the end of this year.
I don't want to give a date because I don't want to be brokenhearted when it doesn't
exactly. 67% off there. Definitely worth a buy. Sunset Overdrive, 67% off. It was free at one point, so hopefully you got it then. And then last we have Titanfall 2 and its deluxe edition by its side at 50% off for both of those. We skipped a few of them. A lot of smaller games that we've never heard of.
Yeah.
If you want to see those, you can go to xbox.com, check their deals. I think is that all the deals?
Sure is.
Oh, and finally, let's get into what we've been playing this week. Waterloo, yet another rough week. You weren't sick this time, but you were stuck out in the boonies with no internet.
I was in the sticks. But luckily I brought my Switch with me.
All right. I will give you this one opportunity to tell us what have you been playing on the Switch.
Well, I've been playing Zelda, obviously. I know many people have beaten by now. I took a hiatus from it because I was getting those rashes from my friends. So I jumped back into that.
Oh, that sounds incredibly gross.
Yeah. Jumped back into that, did some Zelda stuff, and actually put a lot of time into Minecraft.
The Switch edition.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which it's really good. I think I really, really like it. It's much better than any of the other handheld Switch edition, Minecraft editions.
As far as, like on phones or on iPads.
Gameplay. It really feels like a console version.
Like you're playing a console version. Which
you
can be if you dock it and it's hooked up with the TV. So.
Exactly. But yeah, I put a lot of time into that. Did the Minecraft thing.
Cool.
And then when I was in...
Did you build anything cool in Minecraft?
I did. I built a nice house with a giant silo and an underground... I'm not finished with it, but I got an underground creepy laboratory where I captured animals, and they're all in cages. So I'm waiting to catch some more animals to really fill it out.
Are you trying to make a zoo, or are you doing like weird science projects?
I was thinking more weird science projects, but I could make it into a zoo. I'm not quite sure.
I don't even know what you can do in Minecraft as far as doing experiments on animals.
I don't think you really can, but I just want to set it
light
up
some of them on fire.
Looks like it is. I did trap a spider and a zombie, but unfortunately, after the night or the day was over, they disappeared on me.
That's too bad.
And trapping a spider is extremely hard. I don't know if anyone's ever done it before.
No,
but it's hard.
In real life, yes.
But in
Minecraft,
life, no.
I just mine in Minecraft. Is that what you're supposed to do?
You're just supposed to mine and craft. It says nothing about trap spiders. It's not called Mine Trap Spidercraft.
I crafted a trap around a spider. So I was
in a mine.
Actually, it was
spider
kind of
craft thing.
And then when I was able to when I did finish house sitting out in the boonies, I was able to jump back on my Xbox and crack a little skulls in For Honor, tested out those new characters. Actually tested out one new character, the Shinobi, and played a little of a game of the week, which I'm not going to say anything about. I don't want to.
Yeah, we'll touch on that.
Tell you guys last week that we were going to have a game of the week, but yet, surprise, we had one.
But by now, you should know every week we'll have a game of the week for you.
Yeah. I played some Lego Star Wars.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
I wanted to kill some time. I didn't feel like bashing
Oh,
skulls.
you should have told me. I would have played that with you.
I played some Lego Star
Get
Wars.
some couch co-op Lego Star Wars in. Is that only two? Is that only 2-player? I bet you it is. It's like one of the first ones, so probably.
It might only be 2 player. I'm not sure. It did say. I'm not
You're
sure.
not
where
sure.
I was gonna
Okay.
go with that,
Perfect.
But yeah.
Not sure. Hopefully more than 2, because that'd be fun to play.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
But Shoba, what have you been playing this week?
Hopped into a few games of TF2 with
Titanfall 2.
you and Payne. Some Rocket League with you guys. That was some couch playing.
So a
right
lot of
there.
this, yeah, we hung out for a few hours on this weekend. Me, Shopa, and Payne. We got some NBA Playgrounds under our belt. Got some Rocket League.
Yeah, way to invite me. guys.
You
were
were
babysitting.
out of town.
Yeah, I could have drove back.
If
I
you drove
could've
back, we
drove
would have been
back.
playing cornhole.
Yeah, then we would have had 4 people.
And now you tell me.
Now we stell you.
Tell me.
Yes.
Tell me.
Now we tell you.
guys are such arse.
Oh, we're so sorry, Lou.
Yeah, you should be.
How you got your first experience with NBA Playgrounds? How'd you like that?
Every team I was on was the losing team.
Yeah, that's true.
I can shoot threes once in a while, but when the other team has the best blocker in the game, somehow he just decides to jump 15 feet in the air and
I think
block my 3-point shot.
Payne had Joel Embiid at one point, and
He just blocked everything.
I think when you played on my team, we lost like 52-30. It was we didn't score. He went on like a 30-0 run. It was like 34-4.
I don't want to talk about it.
That was rough.
I don't want to talk about it.
But speaking of that, though, there is an update coming, so we can actually play online with our friends.
And not have to be sitting next to each other.
Weird.
Wait,
Whoa.
an online game you can play online?
Hey,
Boom.
small developer, small game. It
I
was
don't
only
know.
$20. Give
It's-
them a break.
It's nice having that couch co-op, though.
Yeah, it's like what they did was forced us into that for like a
Yeah.
week or two, and then like, nah, just kidding. We actually do have online play. You guys don't have to sit on your own couch.
Which is nice, also.
Sit on each
To
other's
be honest, now
couches.
I have to buy the game to play it.
That's true, but at least if you guys both wanted it, it'd only be $10, which is a good deal.
Also, I feel like this is a game that I would much more enjoy on my Switch, which it is able to.
It is on your Switch, right?
On my, I mean, it's not on my Switch, but I can. Get
Or it could
on
be.
Yeah.
It'd be sweet if there was crossplay, so you could play on your Switch and we could play.
I'm waiting for that day for crossplay.
Oh,
play to
aren't
happen.
we all? Okay.
What
that
have
all
you
you played?
Yeah, that's and obviously Lord
Your
Off.
PC stuff. Oh, you played some PC stuff. You
play
played PC stuff this week?
Of course, I played PC stuff this week.
Okay, cool. We don't need to talk about it, right?
No, not.
Did you do anything cool? It was anything different this week in your PC life that was different from any other week?
I went up a ranking in League of Legends. I went from like
Lol.
the third lowest to the second lowest.
Hey, making progress. You'll
Yeah.
throw that whole thing in the garbage eventually. I'm
I'm
just kidding. I would sell it. Don't throw it in the garbage.
Yeah, that's way too expensive.
Wait, the game or his computer?
My computer.
The computer.
Okay.
We'll get him a nice laptop that he can just edit videos
Oh.
on, and that's it.
I almost bought one today,
We're just gonna
but I'm poor.
cut off any ability for him to play League of Legends, and then I think we'll
I'll
have
slowly
something good here.
Yeah.
Die.
So besides the stuff I got to play with you guys, I got into Minecraft story mode. I beat the first part of it. I don't know what made me get into Minecraft. Maybe it was just because you had talked about
Playing it.
playing, so I was like, oh, I've got 8 episodes of that, which is weird because most Telltale games aren't 8 episodes. But yeah, I had 8 episodes. The Minecraft story mode. Played the first one. It's pretty good. The main character is voiced by Patton Oswalt, which I didn't know that. Just after listening for a while, I was like, who is that? He sounds so familiar. And you're like, oh, it's the guy from King of Queens.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I could picture his face. I could
Looked him
picture
up.
him, but
Yep.
couldn't picture his name.
that's a lot of fun so far. It ended with a giant wither monster. What do you like?
I'm just laughing at part of the script in the game when he says some funny. His friend.
They sound like sexual innuendos.
Yeah.
2 of them in a row. Yeah.
They were just fantastic, and I just couldn't help.
I wish you
think about
remembered them.
it. It was let me whip this out.
Okay.
And,
He was talking about a map or something.
yep. And that wasn't that impressive. I'm pretty sure that was.
Yeah.
That was less than impressive.
That's what she said, and that's what she said.
Yeah, and they were just too spot on, perfect innuendo.
And you were out there listening.
Yep.
So,
I just happened to be.
of course,
there
you had to
right
yell
there.
that, just interrupting my immersion into Minecraft.
Were you really that immersed in a brick world?
Yeah. No, not particularly, I guess. But I will say that this game is perfect for this engine because you can't make Minecraft look worse than Minecraft.
It is true.
So instead of looking at like a weird like frame ratey Batman that tries to run around and just doesn't look as good as
Arkham
a normal, yeah, like Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Minecraft looks just like Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely works in this, and the story's good so far. I'm definitely gonna keep playing it. My FIFA 17 journey as Alex Hunter, the soccer player of no specific color. That's still probably shouldn't have said that.
You should have just ended it at that.
So I wasn't making the squad at Manchester United. I was a sub. I never got up to a spot that was high enough where Jose Mourinho wanted to start me. What a jerk. So they decided, like, hey, you're really good. We sub you in for like 30 minutes a game, but how about we loan you out? So now I'm playing at Aston Villa, starting, obviously, because I'm awesome. But that's how my journey there is going. I've started twice. I have no goals, no assists.
So you never play for
nothing.
Manchester United is what you're
So
saying. Like.
if I have any hope of ever going back to Manchester United, I probably need to start scoring goals.
Yeah.
My training exercises in between games, though, those are going well. A lot of A's and B's
Gotta stay
on the rating schedule, rating chart.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all I played. That wasn't Playgrounds or Rocket League or our game of the week. And speaking of our game of the week, we're gonna go into that next here. Sorry about this awkward transition. We'll figure it out eventually. But thanks for tuning into the first half of the show. Stay tuned after the break for our Game of the Week discussion on Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris. Okay, thank you everybody for coming back. If you decided to tune back in for our discussion of Crystal Dynamics, Lara Croft, and the Temple of Osiris. This is a top-down action-adventure game, puzzle game, 4-player co-op extravaganza. So, Waterloo, you seem the angriest about this game. Why don't you just put your thoughts on the table now? Let us know. What'd you think about it?
I played it alone, so I wasn't able to find the joy in the multiplayer aspect of it, first off, so that could be why I have a bad taste in my mouth on this game.
And because you kind of were forced to play it all really quick.
Yeah, that too.
Which was fine for us.
Yeah, I don't know. When I hear Lara Croft, I think of, over-the-shoulder action-adventure.
Just a third-person...
I think of Lara Croft,
of
Tomb
the
Raider.
Lara Croft
I
games.
think of exploring tombs, solving more tedious puzzles, not fighting a giant alligator.
He's pretty much explaining the game, going through tombs, doing puzzles.
But they're not. It's not the same. It doesn't.
You're right. They're more cerebral puzzles than the ones in the Lara Croft games.
No, I wouldn't say cerebral.
You can't even say cerebral.
That's why I wouldn't say it. But it just doesn't have that Tomb Raider. Like when I hear Lara Croft,
you think of the movies.
no, I think of the original games. Like
Oh, I think of the movies.
no,
So you just think of Angelina Jolie and he thinks of the movies.
no, he thinks of Angelina Jolie's.
I looked at you, but I was talking about him. Yes.
Is there a problem?
I think of the old school games, like when your biggest thing you fought was a dinosaur, you know, or those crazy aliens, the crazy things at the end.
I mean, yeah, but the name is the Temple of
Well,
Osiris.
okay, so
Yeah,
Shopa,
okay.
why don't you just... What was the story of this? It wasn't that big of a plot or anything.
No, so I'm gonna butcher trying to remember all the names and everything because we played over the weekend. But so Osiris is a god,
Yep.
and his brother Set
Yep.
was jealous of him because
Yep.
Set was banished to the underworld and cannot get out. So he destroyed Osiris and split him into a bunch of bazillion pieces,
Which
so that
we
he
had to
couldn't-
go find.
so he couldn't come back, and is then trying to take over the world.
Yep.
So us as Tomb Raiders help Osiris.
Some of us are Tomb Raiders. Some of
That's
us
true.
were...
Are they-
Horus. Horus is a...
and Isis.
Isis is his mom.
Is Osiris's wife.
Osiris.
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 Yeah.
Sorry, it's
Yep.
that's
So
from-
Isis and
okay.
Osiris.
And to be
Are
clear, we're not
married.
talking about ISIS like.
Thanks, Lewis. Yes,
Yeah,
we're
we
all...
weren't
gonna
gonna
go
go
there.
there. We
Jesus
literally said
Christ.
this when we were talking about this earlier
And
today that you would bring this up.
Who exactly?
We knew you'd
Maybe
bring this
if
up.
you just included me in
And
that conversation, I
you
would have
were
never
not
brought
at
up
work.
Osiris.
And Horus is their son. So they're alive. They've been trying to bring him back so that he can defeat Set and his minions and save the world, which is the whole point of what we do. So you run through tombs. Most tombs are to get a piece of Osiris back. Some of them are challenge tombs, so you can get upgrades for weapons or health.
Yeah, and there was a decent amount of weapon, like as far as like firearms go. There's a lot of options, which is kind of fun. We had flamethrowers, we had akimbo like SMGs. There was everything.
So
Maybe I might have liked it a little more if I got further into it, but still, it just
You played like 30 minutes of it, so yeah, you probably had to give
just
it more of a chance.
didn't feel like I was playing Lara Croft on Tomb Raider.
So you look at the game ahead of time and you're like, okay, this is what this is going to be. Let me temper my expectations. It's obviously not one
Well,
of their big titles.
I
It's-
did look at it.
I mean, I'm going to tell you straight up, if I had to play this alone, I probably would be in the same boat.
Oh, I wouldn't have played it.
It was so... the game is so much more fun when you and a buddy are running around and then you fall off the edge randomly and just die.
And we played,
your
well,
buddy
that's
just
the
looks
thing,
at
then
you
you're
and just like-
laughing.
I mean, I ran around and fell off the edge.
and it
by
probably
myself and
wasn't
died.
very fun
And I didn't think it was fun at all.
in co-op, you just spawn back in on your
on your buddy.
your
Right.
buddy. You don't
mean-
just have to restart the whole thing over again.
So who did you... So, okay, so it was weird because me and Shopa played it, and one of us was Lara Croft and the other one was Horus, I think.
Yes.
So Horus had like a staff to move objects, like lift platforms.
Shield that you could jump
yeah, like
up
a
onto,
shield bubble,
or
and
blocked
then-
arrows.
I was Lara Croft. All I had was my guns, a grappling hook, and a
awesome
torch,
acrobatics.
and awesome acrobatics.
I don't know.
So how did that work for you playing single player? You obviously weren't controlling two players. So
No.
how did that work?
They gave me the staff.
Okay, so they just
So-
made one super Tomb Raider.
Pretty much, they made Tomb Raider. They made Lara Croft in that sense, because in the old game, she never needed help. She didn't need no.
She was never trying to take down gods.
That's true.
Did you ever play the first one? You fight
I
some
don't know.
really messed up things.
Didn't you
towards
fight
the end.
like T-Rexes in those old games?
You did fight a T-Rex in that game. I'd much rather deal with a T-Rex than a god, though, personally.
That's true.
But still, I was given the staff that I kept on my back, and I had my pistols, and I could use those staffs to like move objects or.
So you just
Well,
had to do
that-
everything yourself, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's something I'd like to also look at is, so I never stopped using the staff as Horus. I had never found a need to use a weapon.
Well, because your staff, like the
Was
beam
a
that you
weapon.
could shoot out of your staff, was a weapon.
Yeah, but-
right.
It was pretty weak.
Well,
be
that's
honest.
true because we'd finish like a tomb and it'd be like, oh, Risky had like 99% of the kills, but it's because you were probably like damaging them all a little bit, and then I was just like, well, this is a shotgun.
Yeah, and
So-
it was
I
just so much more advantageous for me to have the staff out for the things you needed the staff for, instead
Right.
of running around with a semi-automatic weapon. Whereas
And then
if I'm
needing the
doing something
staff
with the
real quick.
staff, then you can just clear creeps, and there was no need for me to shoot anything
Yeah, that makes sense.
unless you get into like. And then when you got into the boss fights, I don't think it's based on the damage of your gun as much as just how much you hit him. In the boss fights, when they have the big, you have to usually have to do something.
the
to,
damage definitely.
is
The first boss I fought, I'd use the staff and my bombs. Like I would zap him with the staff, drop a bomb, walk back, and blow up the little creatures and him all at the same time.
Yeah, because I would assume like if I'm firing a hunting rifle into him and I'm only being able to get off a shot every
Yeah.
second or two, compared to an SMG that's putting 50 rounds in
Which
3
when-
seconds.
When I was playing by myself, the SMG that I had actually did the most damage. I had the pistol, the SMG, or some machine gun, and the staff.
Okay, right. Yeah, like I don't. It's a fun puzzle game. I definitely wouldn't play it by myself, which kind of sucks. But like, there's not much we could do there because you were gone all week
Yeah.
without internet.
I
so.
think it'd be interesting to watch someone else play it and see what they did, because there's one part in one of the dungeons where there was a ball and a bunch of different places you had to jump on above water, and we definitely didn't do that part right.
Yeah, I think
Because we didn't use the ball at all, I don't think.
Oh yeah, because all the platforms that are out in the water, you had to jump to them, and they had spikes on them, and they would alternate when you would use your staff, so it would shoot up the spikes on one set of them, and then lower the ones on the other one. So we had to like time our jumps perfectly, which you're probably right wasn't the way we were supposed to do it because there was this big metal ball that we were definitely supposed to do something with. Totally ignored that, but
I mean, all in all, I had fun playing. Obviously, playing it with you, but once again, if I was single player playing, I'd
Wow.
probably play half of it.
if I was single and playing it single player,
Thanks.
I probably would just
Oh,
throw
Shots
my
in the
Xbox
dark.
out.
Okay.
Well, no, I was just saying that's funny because Lewis, that's
Yeah,
exactly what he was doing.
Exactly.
Oh.
That's why I was like, wow.
That was a
thanks.
shot at
That
Lewis,
was-
not a shot at
That
you.
was just word garbage coming out of my mouth at that point. But
Thanks. Ouch.
4 players, I feel like would have been even more fun.
that
Oh,
especially
it might have
through
been chaos, but
especially through the running parts. So one of the parts of these dungeons is one of his minions, like a big alligator or something else, is chasing you, and you have to constantly sprint, duck, dive, dodge, duck, and dive around things and get to the end before this thing kills you. And what would usually happen playing with Risky is that I would die a lot, and he'd just run through it, and I just spawn on him whenever
I
he got
looked
to
at
a
our
safe
achievement
place.
list and I was like, how do you have an achievement that I don't have? And I looked at it and was like, die the most times on your team. And the name of the achievement was, hey, at least you're good at something.
So I think we
That's
actually had to
fantastic.
physically try to have you die more times.
I was
at
like,
the
I need
end of
this
a dungeon.
achievement. So I was just jumping off things, just jumping into spikes the whole mission. But
He's really good at taking all of the.
gems, the
gems,
currency.
too?
Yeah, so you collect gems throughout the game, and then you could spend the gems at these treasure chests to get like amulets and rings, which gave you buffs to like speed and
I
things
guess-
like that.
So in that sense, I could see it being like Prey last week, where if Lou's playing alone and he gets all of the gems, he doesn't have to split it between people, so he could
Yeah.
get more powerful.
I don't know if it cuts down
on amount of gems.
on the amount of gems that are actually there.
I don't think so,
Probably
because when
not.
I looked, I had I want to say like 1,300 gems, and you had like 1,700 gems from our playthrough.
Yeah.
And I think looking at him when he played, you played for what, 45 minutes maybe?
Yeah, it's just like around.
I think you already had like 400 or 500 gems.
So okay, so yeah, maybe if you're playing by yourself, they do give you the
So-
ability to buy more amulets, buy more rings.
So if you-
to make yourself more powerful.
If you do the math, if he grabs all the gems we grabbed, he had 1,000 gem box drops where we each only got one. So if
Yeah,
you get an
that's
amulet
true.
and a ring, and you have both of those super buffs,
Yeah, I did open like 4 boxes at once at one point in time.
They might have been like
they're
100.
probably 100.
They're probably $100 ones
Oh,
yeah.
I
because
don't
they
know.
had different costs on them, and then you would just get like a certain. It would help your chances of getting a certain rarity of like ring, like uncommon or rare, legendary, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So spoilers: the story ends. Me and Shopa finished it 6 hours ish, 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah,
we had
we
different
played-
play counts play timers, which is weird because we played the whole thing together.
But
But,
it was cool because we played like 2 hours on like a Friday night, I think, and I was just at my apartment and there was nothing to do, so we played it. But then we played it the other night where we hung out at Risky's, so it was half online, half just couch sitting.
Couch sitting was way more fun, I think.
Definitely, we had some Wendy's.
I mean, Wendy's makes any video game session
8 for 8.
It doesn't make it better, really.
Okay.
It doesn't make it worse. I'll put it that way.
Nothing versus Wendy's. Wendy's is definitely better.
It depends on how I'm feeling. And
If you have to go to a
grills.
fast food burger joint, you're choosing McDonald's or Burger King over Wendy's?
I'm choosing Taco Bell, and I'm gonna ask.
That wasn't the question.
I'm gonna ask him to make
Okay.
a patty for
Yeah,
me.
so you're irrelevant. You don't. No more talking.
I was told I was irrelevant one time.
Was it your mom?
Yes, it was.
So we collected all the pieces of Osiris. We brought Osiris back to life, and then like the final battle of the game is Osiris
versus Set.
versus Set,
And
you're just
probably the coolest thing we got from that is one of the missions. So you get a couple missions right before you go into like your major boss battles and stuff. And one of them was like 15 gamer score for running through Set's legs. So we're both there, they're talking, and we're ready to spawn in, and you like look at each other's controllers, and we're both just spamming the up button trying to run through his feet as soon as we spawn in.
yeah. It was like one of the mission checkpoints. Like, hey, if you do this, you'll get a sweet Gatling gun. And it was like, all I have to do is run between his legs. So
That's sweet.
it's like, before we do
I'm on
anything
it.
else, quick, let's go run between his legs.
So
So we helped Osiris,
but it was definitely like the last part was, there was no part of this that didn't seem too easy. Like there were definitely some challenging parts. There were definitely some parts that were easy because we saw them quickly, but
yeah, like there was a few puzzles that we actually had to sit there for a few minutes, like a lot of the mirror puzzles with the laser. Like you had to make a laser hit 4 different like glowing orbs, so you'd have to like rearrange mirrors so the laser would reflect off of it.
or something that we had to do was you can grapple each other and then go out on stuff, and like you can
So
Laura
Laura
can
would
move.
Laura would throw her grappling hook onto like a center like post or something, and then Horus could jump up onto the rope that she was holding, and then she could like walk around so he'd be on the rope.
Or he can like walk across the
Or
rope,
he
which
could
is
walk
something you can
across it
do
to
in
get somewhere.
multiplayer, but you can't do in single player.
Yeah, like I have no idea how some of those puzzles would work.
So they must
In
have.
single player.
I'm assuming they changed.
Maybe some of the geography actually changes.
Yeah,
Some of the
or
landscapes.
That's why I feel like in some dungeons there were definitely parts that we didn't need to use, but could have been different for a single player, so that it made it a little bit different for them because they only had the one opportunity.
Quickly going back to the whole you jumping on the like spikes and timing it, and you didn't even touch that ball that you were thought you were supposed to move.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how the whole single player, double player thing worked. That maybe if I were there,
He
you
would have
guys
to
maybe
use the ball.
might have taken the single roll path when you actually should have been playing with the ball.
Okay, yeah, that
or
makes
vice
sense.
versa, you know,
Yeah.
in that roles.
Yeah, so overall, I mean, Waterloo, you didn't have the ideal experience, so it's kind of tough for you to give like
I feel also
any type of rating on it.
if I were to play a down over top game like this, I probably would play. I don't know if anyone remembers Hunter the Reckoning. That was a blast of a game.
Yeah, but we have Xbox One, so we're probably
I mean,
not
that-
playing Hunter the Reckoning.
Was for like Xbox original.
Well, if you can find it, then
I
yeah,
mean,
we'll play it.
You think I might still have it at my house, but anyways.
Shopa,
but
Shopa, you
decent.
liked it though?
Yeah, I had fun playing it with you, obviously, and it was a fun 6 hours.
It didn't outstay its welcome. Like it ended right when I was probably on the brink of this is about to become tedious.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't linger.
It didn't linger. No, definitely a fun game. It's still free, right?
Mhm.
It's still free.
To the end of the
Go out
month.
and get it if you need somebody to play with. The 3 of us are here. Maybe somebody can show Waterloo a good time
For once.
for once.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
So that was our game of the week discussion. This upcoming week, we are going to be playing Paladins, which is it looks like a lot like Overwatch, first person hero shooter. It's weird because we don't have like a story to beat, so
We'll just play through a little bit, see how it feels.
play through it. We'll try to play a bunch of different characters. You what?
I got skipped.
For what?
For game of the week.
No, you didn't.
You're not back. We're not back to you yet.
Prey.
I didn't pick Prey.
No, we didn't.
Prey was like a current event game.
Yeah.
If there's a current event game, that doesn't count.
Fine.
And we didn't want to have to play Outlast 2. So
I didn't say I was gonna say Outlast.
We know what you're gonna pick.
What was I gonna pick?
Outlast 2.
Wrong. I don't even own that game.
Yeah.
I won't buy that game.
So next week, look forward to our Paladins discussion. With that, let's go around the table. Waterloo, where can we find you, and what are you going to be playing this week?
You can find me at Waterloo on the Xbox and Waterloo on Beam.
All right.
I was going to say something funny in there, but I decided not to.
Why bother?
Yeah, exactly.
Shopa, where can we find you?
You can find me at OMG It's Shopa on everything. So
And
Xbox,
quickly-
YouTube, Twitter, la 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 la.
To go back to Waterloo, what are you playing this week?
Games.
All right, games.
Games.
Shopa.
Both console and PC games.
All right, I'm going to be diving back into Minecraft story mode, Paladins, some FIFA, all that good stuff.
I'm pretty excited about Paladins, I won't lie.
Yeah, I think it should be a lot of fun. But with that, everybody, thank you for stopping by and listening to episode 9 of the Xbox Community Cast. And until next time, we'll catch you later.
Bye-bye now.
See ya.